If you're eating high sugar, high carbs, processed foods, you're going to get a lot of inflammation in your body, and that's going to zap your energy because your body's not getting the nutrients that it needs.
Welcome to the Ultra Healthy Now podcast, where your journey to feeling younger, sexier, and more energized begins. Dr. Nicole Srednicki, who specializes in high-performance health, will dive into practical, actionable tips and strategies that can transform your physical, mental, and emotional well-being. Join us as we uncover the secrets to living a healthier, happier life, mind, body, and spirit. Because true health, beauty, and happiness start on the inside.
Welcome back to another episode of the Ultra Healthy Now podcast, where we dive deep into how you can live a long, happy, high-performing life. And today, as always, we're with Dr. Nicole Srednicki, who's not only my doctor, but also became my friend. And now we get to bring all her knowledge to all of you, because every single time I'm with her, I'm just in awe by everything I learn. And now we get to expand it to this podcast. And so today we're going to be talking about some key insights into optimizing your health, bridging the gap between traditional and alternative approaches, and discovering evidence-based health hacks for a vibrant life. So let's get started. Dr. Nicole, when it comes to finding the right anti-aging or functional medical doctor, what's your advice? And how can our listeners navigate through all the different options to make sure that they find the doctor that fits their needs? Especially with, I've had friends, I've had relatives that have been scammed by, holistic doctors or just any, regular doctors too. They come to you, blood draws don't match up with some results. And so I want to bring shed some light into that and bring some clarity to it. So how does someone find the right anti-aging doctor?
Thanks, Alex. And that's a great point that you bring up. That's probably, my number one recommendation is your doctor practicing safe? What are their credentials? Are you getting your health information off the internet, or do you actually consult with somebody, and how have they been trained? When you go into clinics, sometimes you get an idea just by, what it looks like in the clinic, what their clientele is like, how professional are their staff. But more importantly, when we get into the nitty gritty of, for example, when are they monitoring your lab? So I think some of the hormone clinics, weight loss clinics are notorious for giving you exactly what you want, but without telling you potentially the health ramifications. Make sure that they're checking your labs, and then they're explaining to you so that you actually understand what's going on. I know specifically with like testosterone clinics or hormone clinics, if they check your labs, they're very minimal, and our bodies can actually take these hormones and push them down different hormone pathways, which can actually create health hazards for you. So, know what kind of labs they're checking, and that they're doing it correctly, and all encompassing. So they aren't just checking a couple of things; they're actually looking at how it's affecting other areas of your body. And also, doctors should always be using evidence-based medicine. With anti-aging medicine or some of the other, interchangeable terms such as functional medicine, longevity medicine, holistic medicine, natural medicine. Some of these are used interchangeably, but we always, even though it's like cutting edge, we want to make sure it's still safe for you. They do tend to use a lot more of like cutting edge therapies, but is there science behind it? Have they, can they show you the evidence, the studies, to make sure that it's not only safe, but also effective? And I think I'll just back up for 1 second and just give a brief overview of what we discussed on last show, which was the difference between an anti-aging specialist or a traditional specialist. So in traditional medicine, or sometimes they refer it to conventional or Western healthcare, they're really focusing on disease. That's using our traditional a healthcare system, which is great if you're sick, but it's really not doing a lot to keep you healthy or look at your health in a preventative manner. So, as I said, it's if you're sick, the Western or conventional medicine can be very helpful for you. But when we're looking at, we want to, a lot of you out there are entrepreneurs. You need to be motivated. You need to have a lot of energy. We need to be more proactive with our health and do things to keep us healthy. And that's where the alternative side comes in. And these are terms known as anti-aging medicine, functional medicine, longevity, holistic, sometimes natural medicine, and there are subtle nuances between these different types, but they are kind of used interchangeably. And with these types of medicine, it's a more holistic approach, looking at the body as an interconnected system and seeking to identify and address the underlying root causes of if there is an issue there or an imbalance. So it really emphasizes personalized, client-centered care and aims to promote optimal health and wellness by addressing all different factors such as nutrition, lifestyle, environment, genetics, and the mind-body connection. So jumping kind of back into when you're looking for the perfect functional medicine doctor for you, another key is, are they allocating enough time for you? When you go into the doctor, I'm sure Alex, you've experienced this. I hear it from tons of other patients. They go in, the doctor's paying attention to you for 2 seconds while their head's in the computer typing away, and usually looking for a quick fix instead of giving you the time that you need and deserve to get to really optimize your health or get to the bottom of whatever issue it is. So are you building a relationship with your doctor? How comfortable do you feel with them? Are they advocating for you? Another key thing that I think is just so important is I think it's great when you have kind of a healthcare team, right? So having a traditional doctor, I think there's nothing wrong with that, but then also having somebody from the anti-aging side. So when you go to them, number one, they should be working as a team. They should, not be fighting against each other, but allowing you to just take in the information from both sides so that you can make an informed decision.
I just want to highlight something because what you mentioned earlier was very important too. It's like when when we talk about what you do, right? I think it's very important that you go to someone that's not just blinded by one side, right? Where it's just Eastern or just Western. It's really important to, like you said, combine those two or have a team, especially because, sometimes someone will just try and cure something solely with, the traditional system, and then they won't rely on like natural approaches, right? So again, highlighting the importance of finding someone that can combine both of them and that's not blinded and has their blinders and then just wants to treat you one single way. So,
Ex Yeah, exactly, exactly. And I tend to kind of as a rule of thumb is, traditional medicine is more for like I mentioned, if you're sick, sometimes natural medicine can definitely still work. There's a lot of cases, but I kind of am thinking in like severe cases, like you've been having shortness of breath for a while, or you keep getting swelling in your ankles. I've had cases where patients will come to me and they're like, I've had this ankle swelling or the shortness of breath for months, and they're telling me to drink this tea or take this pill, when they've been going to the natural side of things, and it's actually been something way more severe that should have been addressed by Western medicine. And then conversely, this has happened countless times where I have women come to me, either in perimenopause or menopause, that transitional phase. And they said, oh, my mood is down and I just feel horrible. And their traditional doctor has given them an antidepressant when really they just need their hormones balanced. And that's when, we get into like bioidentical hormones and things like that. So just kind of going back to like having somebody on both sides so that you can just get all the information and then make the best decision for you.
yeah. And Nicole, one thing that you mentioned, it's feeling like a number at the doctor's office, right? I felt like that. Everybody else felt that way. And I think truly in that instinct too, we have to just rely on our gut instinct as well as like, if this person's not barely even looking at you, barely examining you, and, hasn't asked you questions about your lifestyle, drastic changes in your life, certain patterns in your history, if they haven't truly gotten to know you, then, it's time that you go looking for someone else. Like in your gut, you know that that's not right. How can truly someone assess you? Just because, yeah, they're a doctor does not mean we should need to blindly, be confident in what they're telling us. Or, if they give you an antidepressant without even knowing, okay, maybe you gave birth, maybe I don't know, a number of things, right? What's your exercise look like? What's your diet look like? Um, and your vitamin levels, which is something you checked right off the bat when I went in. And so it's like if someone's not fully assessing you, then also follow your gut instinct, and you need to know that you need to be looking for an alternative doctor that's actually going to listen to you and spend, an hour getting to know your history and your current life with you. So that's really important. And that kind of brings me into my next question, where it's like, I want you to share so that other people can also find something similar, or, if they want, go to you. But to start off and share, what are your pillars at Ultra Healthy Human?
Yeah. So at Ultra Healthy Human, we specialize in high performance health for high performance people. So we help people to slow the aging process. So even if you're as young as you, Alex, like unfortunately, we start to age as soon as we're born. So we want to start working on it now so that we can stay like this versus, waiting till down the road when there's things going wrong and then trying to reverse it. It's a lot more work. I consider myself an anti-aging specialist. And that doesn't mean I do aesthetics. When I say anti-aging, we're working on the whole body. We're working internally and externally, because what you're doing internally is going to reflect externally. So I want you to feel good inside and outside. You want to have energy. You want to have mental clarity. You want to have restful sleep. Sometimes people want to lose a little weight or have a stronger libido. Those are all the things that we try to optimize. Something to think about is how healthy are you? How do you actually measure your health? A lot of people say, well, I think I'm healthy because I don't have symptoms. And that just means you're not sick. So what are we actually doing to measure and make sure that you're healthy? So, when people come into my practice, that's after we sit down and have a long conversation about health goals, health history, then we look at very comprehensive blood work. We're looking at vitamin levels, inflammation in our body, all different hormone cascades, heavy metals, just to name a few, so that we really get an idea and then can say, okay, internally, you are like 70 when you're actually 40 years old, or vice versa, to see where you are. And then that's when we can put together a plan that's going to work best for you.
And that's so important, Nicole, because, even like we said, just because you're not sick doesn't mean that there's not something going on, right? And so it's funny because we get so used to kind of like living right here, and then like an average life, an average mood, an average whatever it might be, energy. And then, after taking control of my health, going to you, getting, taking the approaches necessary, all my follow-up treatments, you also realize, wow, you get to like this high of like your health, your energy. You're like, this is the way I should be living. Like, this is amazing. I feel good, better now than I did 7 years ago in terms of inflammation. When I look at myself in pictures, or like, just feeling, energized, or, exuberant, happy, vibrant, you start seeing it in your skin too. So you really like, we're so used to just living in kind of like in the state of average, that once you hit that like health high, you're like, wow, this is how my body should have been working the entire time. So it is important to just, take that proactive approach instead of just waiting until you get sick.
Yeah, and that's a perfect segue into, you asked me about some of our pillars of health. Number 1, which I know you could guess without me even saying it, but is detoxing. So any of my patients that know me know that I am obsessed with detoxing, because this is how we reset our body and can really raise that bar. It's one of the very first things I do with patients is, let's reset your body. I always like to give the analogy of, changing the filters in your car, right? We have scheduled maintenance where we have to get our air filter and our oil filter and all these other filters in our cars have to get them changed. And what does this do? This prevents our car from aging so that it can perform optimally. Our body is the same way. We need to be changing out. It's like changing filters. We're cleaning up your liver, we're cleaning out your blood, we're cleaning out your colon, all these different things so that we can reset. And for patients that have kind of had that bar of like, well, I feel fine, but when they go through the detox, then they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I could feel like this good. And everybody benefits in one way or another, if it's skin or weight loss or just more mental clarity, all these things that we all want that can give us that vitality, all of that cellular health to keep us like on our game.
Yeah. And Nicole, so as you know, I'm on a detox right now. And I remember like the very first time I ever did it, like the first couple days in, I was like, I'm never doing this again. This is ridiculous. This is so hard. And then when I finished it, I was like, oh my, like this is gonna be my new maintenance, right? Like this is because you start living a different way. You start to truly feel like this is how not even like I'm performing better than I've ever imagined. And and I want to clarify something too, because detox has become so taboo in today's society where we're like, this detox and that detox and water liquid detox. No, this is like an actual health detox, blood detox, liver detox, colon detox, and weight loss, whatever it may be. But you're actually detoxifying your body from chemicals, from metals. Like, I really want to highlight that importance, because detox has become so, in a way, there's a lot of non-healthy detoxes that are advertised out there. And so you really need to also make sure that a certified specialist is hand in hand guiding you through this process. But yes, like I'm on the detox right now. I'm about to finish on Sunday. Feeling amazing, feeling all the highs of this health. And so I love that the number one pillar is detox.
Yes, and we're actually gonna. I think we're gonna have an episode like solely on detox, so we can kind of go
We need
through
to.
some of the detoxes on the market and share a little education so that people can decide which is
Mhm.
best for them and maybe going to give them the best and most sustainable health results. So that will
Yeah.
be one of our shows coming up pretty soon.
Yeah,
Um,
and it's just one thing to add there too. It's awesome because it's like the after the first detox, you have all these like aha moments in your health, and then you think the next time you do the detox, it's just going to be the same. But it's funny how it just keeps stacking onto it itself, right? So your health increases each time, and that's because like you're also your new normal is like you've raised the bar, right? And so you just keep raising it and raising it and raising it, and so, this detox, I felt so much better than, I don't know what number this is, maybe it's my 10th one. I don't know. But, but it's like each time it just gets better, right? And you experience even better, like mental clarity, skin, weight loss, whatever it may be. But it keeps getting better. So I just want to emphasize that too.
Yeah, I think for you, Alex, I hope you don't mind me sharing, but you used to have bloating all the time. And I think the very first detox you went through, you were like, this has transformed me. Like, you were so sick of feeling
Yeah.
bloated all the time and like some of those issues. And then you were like, I can't believe how just going through this 21 days has literally just changed my life. Like
Yeah.
having
21
that.
days is nothing in comparison to the 365 days of your life that you want to live in abundance, right? You want to live feeling great. And it's like, even after the detox, like when you're detoxing in that current state, of course you're feeling great, but the effects last after the detox. Why? Because your body is cleansed from all that junk that was in there. So, so yeah, I mean, I was number one dealing with bloating and like inflammation, just even pain, like sensitivity on my skin. And you just start to realize that after detoxing your body, it'll start to work the way it should.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'll talk about a couple other of health pillars just briefly. The I think second health pillar is hormone optimization. And I don't think sometimes people don't understand how much hormones like affect their entire body. It's everything from head to toe, every organ, your hair, your bowels, like everything, your mood. So it is really important when we talk about hormones to kind of understand those relationships. And if you're young, like somebody like you, Alex, you're too young. You don't need any hormone optimizations. But we are seeing people requiring hormone optimization like younger and younger because of our environment. So I have men in their 30s that are starting to have low testosterone levels, just because of the air we're breathing, the food we're eating. We're always getting toxins in our body, and that actually disrupts these cascades of hormones. So, just kind of briefly touching on that, it's something that, when you are like as young as Alexandra, you might not need like specific like bioidentical hormones, but some of the support for them is essential starting now so that you don't have to rely on those, at younger ages. So, hormone optimization is really important, and just being aware of some of those, they call them like endocrine disruptors or basically toxins out. Even as simple as drinking out of plastic bottles. The plastics have these things called xenoestrogen. So that, for men out there, that's going to turn your testosterone into estrogen. So, that's filled with just toxins. So, drinking out of glass bottles, can be a lot safer for you and help keep you healthier.
Yeah, and those
Um,
are some small things that people can start implementing that really do make a difference. Like you think that by maybe making the change from plastic to glass, it won't be that big of a difference, but it does because it's something that seeps into our body every day in multiple occasions.
yep, exactly.
Mhm.
So, one of the other pillars would probably be biomedical intervention. So, we always want to aim our health at regenerating and keeping tissues and cells youthful, because that's what we're made out of. So, using innovative therapies such as biologics or stem cell therapy, regenerative medicine, things that can help lengthen telomeres in our body, which is one of the things that can actually cause aging, working on mitochondrial support. That's like all the little powerhouses inside of each of our cells. And then epigenetic modification. These are all things that we can actually influence. So, something I always tell patients is like, don't just accept, oh, it's my age or I'm aging. There's always things we can do to optimize our health and keep us feeling great. And then my last pillar is just, very basic lifestyle. Really assessing these different factors such as sleep quality. I can't tell you how many people walk in the door and they just kind of brush out, well, I can't sleep, or I wake up in the middle of the night and I can't fall back to sleep, and then they move on to the next thing. We need to make sure you're having solid, restful sleep. You should be feeling rested in the morning. And then stress management, that's totally going to be a whole show because, we all live in this stressful environment. If it's not even mental stress, sometimes it's just physical stress or emotional stress. So, assessing that and keeping that in check, making sure our adrenals are supported. And mindfulness, this is all like mind body. We want to, when we look at all these health pillars, we want to assess every different level of health.
Yeah. And that's important, the stress part, because it's like, as a community of entrepreneurs, we're so used to having this mentality of being a go getter and we're being alert all the time and stress and work and work, 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 work. And, not prioritizing that stress part where it's like really those cortisol levels can affect your highs and lows. And if you're an entrepreneur, you don't have time to be in the low, right? So, how can you manage this chaotic life of a chaotic, beautiful life of being an entrepreneur and being, working 24/7 to, having your cortisol levels at a healthy medium so you're not experiencing these spikes, right? So that's crucial if we want to live an optimized life, if we want to be ready to invest, to take meetings, so how we can sustain that energy throughout the day, because that really does impact not only our health in the long run, but just our productivity today, right? So very important there. I did a lot of work with you in terms of stress because, you want to be on the go and you want to be ambitious, but you also need to make sure you're monitoring that, right? And now too, I want to, when we talked about this before, creating a little segment because, the concept of health hacks has gone viral. And I love it because it's simple strategies that people can implement and improve their health. But honestly, I see so many out there and I'm like, oh, I know this would not be ultra healthy human approved. And so I wanted to pick your brain on some health hacks that are evidence based that, our listeners can actually incorporate into their daily lives to promote better health outcomes and, an overall vitality. So, Nicole, what is something simple and an ultra healthy hack that our listeners can start implementing in their life today?
Yeah. So most people want more energy. So I get this question a lot. And there are ways that you can naturally boost your energy. It's not always just what pill can I take. There's very basic things you can do to improve your energy. And I would say, number one is hydration, especially here in Arizona and you're over in Florida. Like we live in the desert and people don't realize they're walking around and like their body is like starving for hydration. So, making sure you're staying hydrated. If you're exercising, if you're out, outside, you need to be drinking even more water. The level of water or the amount of water is going to be dependent on your weight and activity level. As a rule of thumb, minimum of 2 liters per day. If you have any kidney or heart issues, it might need to be modified, but definitely staying hydrated. I mean, that alone, if you actually like jot down how much water you're drinking, it can be a wake up call. Cause I've had a lot of patients that I drink a lot of water. And then they actually count and they're like, wow, I don't drink enough water.
Mhm.
So in order to stay energized, you need to stay hydrated.
Yeah.
And
Now I
it,
carry
and
around like my Yeti and I count how many Yetis I drink throughout the day. And that way I'm like, it's something easy that I can just remember throughout the day as opposed to counting each cup, you know?
exactly. Yep.
Mhm.
Inflammation. So if you have a lot of inflammation, if you have a crappy lifestyle, the food that you're eating, if you're eating high sugar, high carbs, processed foods, you're going to get a lot of inflammation in your body, and that's going to zap your energy because your body's not getting the nutrients that it needs. So really take a look at that. And optimizing sleep, as I just said, that is like one of the pillars. Like you need to be having quality sleep. You need to be, sleeping through the night and feeling rested in the morning, not having all kinds of interruptions, not having your, cell phone right next to you, all those EMFs that even if you're sleeping through the night, that can disrupt brain activity and quality of sleep. Um, and then exercising. If you're not exercising, you're not going to optimize your energy. When you're exercising, getting your blood flowing, we're helping circulation, we're just getting everything flowing, we're increasing endorphins. So find an activity that you love. I know you love pickleball. That's like the new hot sport. I haven't tried it yet. I really want to. Mine
So
is
fun, you have
dancing.
to. When I
Yeah.
go over there, just like I did a dance class with you, we'll do a pickleball session.
I love it. I love it. So, and then the last thing would be, a couple other things really quick. Managing stress. If you're stressed all the time, that is going to deplete your energy because your body's like releasing hormones like cortisol and it's going, keeping you in that fight or flight. But that eventually runs out and then leaves you feeling fatigued and just kind of crappy. So really managing your stress, making sure that you are working on your adrenal health. As I said, we're going to have a whole episode on stress and really break it down how to manage it. And limiting your caffeine and sugar intake. Some people they live on coffee all day instead of drinking water, they're drinking coffee all day, and that can actually dehydrate you. Um, and take breaks. This is something we also forget to do. Just take a minute, be mindful, just focus on breathing. It can kind of just reset and give you that, like it can give you a little boost of energy. So I think that's really important. Getting out in the sun 20 minutes a day, there are so many good health benefits to light therapy. So getting a little bit of sun. And the last thing is, staying socially connected. And by this, I don't mean sit on social media all day. I mean, have a real conversation with somebody, pick up the phone or meet somebody for tea and just have a meaningful conversation, talk about things you're grateful for and, just be positive. These types of things can all help give you energy. And if we can incorporate even a few of those things, I think you would see a boost in your energy.
Yeah. And some of those, you can even combine them. I have great success when I do habit stacking. And so when I realize I need to connect with someone, I go for a walk, have them on the phone and enjoy my hour-long walk while talking to this person I love. And so it really boosts your endorphins. You get your steps in. Like it's a really wholesome moment just for you too. So very important. Love these health hacks. We're going to be doing them in every show. And, just to wrap up here now, some, recap points is your annual physical isn't enough to keep you healthy. It's only looking for disease. Remember to keep in mind some of these ultra healthy human pillars, and detox your body, reset it when you can. Find the right healthcare provider. Make sure you have a team on your side, and health is an investment. Health insurance helps when you're sick, but it does nothing for your actual health. So, just some things to keep in mind, everyone. This was Nicole. Thank you. This was another insightful episode of the Ultra Healthy Now podcast. We've learned incredibly valuable tips from Dr. Nicole and on finding the right healthcare provider, incorporating evidence-based health hacks into our daily routines, and the importance of, truly approaching everything and embracing a holistic approach to wellness. So remember, health is your investment. Make sure that you implement the right strategies, that you have the right doctor in your life, the right team by your side, and stay tuned for more empowering conversations surrounded by your health. And until the next show, remember to stay healthy, happy, energized, all the things ultra healthy human. And remember to subscribe to the channel, leave us a review, and stay tuned for upcoming episodes. And if you want more information, visit ultrahealthyhuman.com. And in our next episode, Nicole, we're going to be diving into dissecting the most popular diets and how they can actually be hurting you. So stay tuned for that. And I just want to thank you guys all for joining us. And I hope you found this eye-opening. And before we sign off, I want to make it crystal clear that the information presented here is for informational and entertainment purposes only. This episode should not be considered a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. And while we strive to provide accurate and up-to-date information, the content discussed in this podcast is based on general knowledge and research available at the time of recording. Medical knowledge and guidelines can evolve, and what we discussed may not always reflect the most current research or recommendations. If you have specific health concerns or questions, we strongly encourage you to consult with a qualified healthcare professional or medical specialist who can provide personalized advice tailored to your unique circumstances. Every individual's health situation is unique, and what works for one person may not be suitable for another. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you on the next show.
Thank you for tuning in to the Ultra Healthy Now podcast with Dr. Nicole Srednicki. To discover more, visit ultrahealthynow.com and jumpstart your wellness journey with our 21-day detox program, a total body reset, more energy, better focus, and weight reduction. Our carefully formulated, high-quality supplements will aid in a new level of wellness. Don't wait. Unleash the ultra healthy human within you. At Ultra Healthy Human, Eastern and Western modalities are combined with cutting-edge technology to guide personalized health programs to help you tap into the limitless potential of your mind and body. Because true health, beauty, and happiness start from within. Remember to subscribe, like, and share this episode wherever you listen to podcasts.
And before we sign off, I want to make it crystal clear that the information presented here is for informational and entertainment purposes only. This episode should not be considered a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. And while we strive to provide accurate and up-to-date information, the content discussed in this podcast is based on general knowledge and research available at the time of recording. Medical knowledge and guidelines can evolve, and what we discussed may not always reflect the most current research or recommendations. If you have specific health concerns or questions, we strongly encourage you to consult with a qualified healthcare professional or a medical specialist who can provide personalized advice tailored to your unique circumstances. Every individual's health situation is unique, and what works for one person may not be suitable for another.
This podcast is a presentation of the Rich Dad Media Network.